a segment that I call generic questions. Those of you who've
Yeah.
seen my interviews before will know this where I ask my guests the wrestling questions they might get asked on social media, such as Kate's favorite match, favorite pay-per-view, favorite wrestler's entrance theme, favorite tag team, and favorite wrestler. So you guys will have a place to know the answer to these questions, and you'll never have to ask her again. So, what's your favorite match of all time?
Oh man. So favorite versus best are two different questions for me.
Mm.
My favorite match of all time is probably CM Punk John Cena Money in the Bank 2011, because as someone who started watching in '09, that was just the coolest experience for me. But it's if I go watch Bret and Owen at SummerSlam, that's my favorite match that day. If I watch Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at Mania, that's my favorite match that day. Who I mentioned Eddie and Ray at Halloween Havoc. I mean, God, is there any match that makes you feel that way? So if I had to pick, I would say that one because it's one of the most fundamental to me as a wrestling fan. But a lot of times,
What
if
one,
I'm
just to
actively
clarify, sorry?
John Cena and CM Punk at Money in
Ah,
the Bank
okay, okay.
2011. Yeah. Yep.
What about your favorite overall pay-per-view card, as in like, for example, WrestleMania 26?
Uh it doesn't get much better from the viewing experience for me than All Out of last year. The
2022?
or I'm sorry, 2021, where we had Cole and Danielson debuting.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
And we'll talk about it shortly because I know it's on your questions, but CM Punk was so fundamental in my fandom of wrestling that him actually coming back to wrestle in the ring when you had those debuts to close it, um absolutely some of the my favorite viewing experience. That is the one thing about having watched later, is that I feel like the watching in real time piece of it affects what is my favorite versus what I could like kind of consider best in that regard. And WrestleMania 30 gives it a run for its money too, I would say, for sure. For sure.
Fair enough. What about your favorite wrestler's entrance theme of all time?
It's so hard. Because I love music, and so I like that changes. It changes so much. I love the TMDK theme right now in New Japan. The Young Punks by Mass Lines is so much fun to hear an entrance to. Stone Cold, I think, has to be the most iconic in that way. But I think Dollars to Donuts, I gotta go either. It's gotta be Shinsuke, I think, for me. It's just every iteration of who he's been as a character when they brought it back to Japan and he was fighting Muda. It just it's so perfect. It's so on the nose and such a big part of the presentation. Kevin Owens is a close runner up though too. I'd love
Hmm.
that.
What about your favorite tag team?
Favorite tag team is FTR. I think
Hmm.
certainly right now, and I feel like in general, again, like um watching a team build greatness in real time. I also love going back and watching anything Arden Tully. I like watching anything Heart Foundation as well. But I think FTR is, like I said, in ring is like my thing. So
Yeah, yeah.
FTR is where I break on that.
And then finally, as we wrap up the generic question segment,
Sure.
you've alluded to it, but who is your favorite wrestler?
So CM Punk is for my favorite for what he's done for me as a fan, but the rest of my Mount Rushmore has Danielson and Stone Cold and Bret Hart on it. So